You ever have one of those nights where you swear the universe itself is just waiting to throw you into the kind of drama that makes you question if you're the main character or just the punchline? Because I promise you, nothing in my life prepared me for the night. A judge called me sir, right in front of the woman who'd been trying to destroy me for weeks. Yeah, made her freeze in her tracks. But trust me, I wasn't nearly as cool as I looked. Truth is, the only thing scarier than a power-drunk HOA president calling 911 on you 4 times in 1 week is knowing if your real identity ever got out, your entire shot at peace would go up in flames, because nobody in Willowbrook Estates had any clue who I really was, and I desperately needed to keep it that way. Let me back up a sec. This story really starts 2 months after my divorce papers came through. 3:17 a.m. Timestamp burned into my brain. 15 years with Betty gone in one night. Every night since, like clockwork, I'd drive to my brother David's cabin by the lake, just needing somewhere I could breathe, someplace nobody expected anything from me. I'd park myself on this rickety old bench, cup of coffee in hand, watching the water, convincing myself I'd eventually remember how to be a person again. That's when Linda Morrison stormed into my life, literally. Imagine a 40-something woman in a silk bathrobe and slippers at 3 in the morning, stomping across the grass like she's about to serve you with a subpoena from hell. Her ex James ran off with his secretary a couple years back, and apparently my sitting there in the dark reminded her of every man who ever ignored her. I wasn't trying to ignore anybody. I just wanted to survive my own mess. She came at me fast. "Excuse me, what the hell are you doing here at 3 in the morning?" Her voice hit me like a weed whacker. I looked up calm as I could manage. "Evening, ma'am. Just clearing my head." But she was having none of it. "This is private community property. You need to leave right now." I stood slow, trying not to escalate. I believe it's a shared amenity and I'm not breaking any rules. You could see the veins bulging in her neck. "I'm the HOA president. I'm telling you to leave." You know what I mean? There's folks who wield a little power like a chainsaw. I kept my voice steady. "With all respect, Mrs. Morrison, I'm here legally." That no didn't just annoy her. It broke something inside her. "We'll see about that. I'm calling the police." I just nodded. "That's your prerogative, Mrs. Morrison." 20 minutes later, blue and red lights across the lake. Officer Rodriguez, tired but fair. Linda comes flying out of her house, finger-pointed, yelling about trespassing and defying HOA authority. Rodriguez checked the records, told her, "Ma'am, as long as he isn't disturbing anyone, he's fine." Watching her try to process not being in charge for once, honestly, it would have been funny if it hadn't set off a firestorm. But Linda, she doesn't let things go. The next night she shows up again, phone in hand, recording me. "You're harassing me," she spits. "I told you to leave and you keep coming back." I sip my coffee. "Still legal for me to be here, Mrs. Morrison." She calls 911 again this time, tells them I'm making residents feel unsafe. Third night she comes with backup. Dave, her loyal sidekick, who tries to talk tough, but he's just parroting her lines. Linda takes it further, tells the cops I might be dealing drugs. I mean, who sits by a lake at 3 a.m., right? Police show up again. All they find is my coffee and a dog-eared paperback. Her credibility's tanking, but she's too deep to quit. Fourth night, 3:33 a.m., and now Linda's not just angry, she's unraveling. "I'll destroy you. I'll expose whatever you're hiding." This time I let a little steel into my voice. "You might want to think carefully about your next steps, Mrs. Morrison." She twisted that into a threat, called 911 one more time this time, saying I'd threatened her life. "Domestic terrorism," she told the dispatcher. I stayed put, documenting everything: audio, photos, timestamps, old habits. You see, I'm used to dealing with people like Linda. It's just in the past it was my job. By now the community was split. Team Linda wanted me gone. Team Michael thought I was harmless, and the rest just wanted the sirens to stop. Out of nowhere, this tiny powerhouse of a woman, Eleanor Harris, 74, war widow, lived here forever, shows up while I'm checking my mail. Young man, why's Linda say you're dangerous? I told her the truth, mostly. I come here because my marriage ended at this hour. It's my time to heal. She just nodded, gave my arm a squeeze. Don't let bullies drive you off, son. Funny how one person's faith in you can make you feel 10 feet tall. She stood by me even when Linda ramped things up, putting up illegal signs, blocking paths with cones, taking photos from behind trees like a discount PI. I kept documenting it all. Neighbors started to wonder how I knew exactly what to record, how to stay so calm. They started whispering, "Who is this guy?" Linda held an emergency HOA meeting. Painted me as a menace. He sits there like he owns the place, she said, voice shaking, just like my ex-husband. And just like that, it was obvious this wasn't about community rules. This was about her divorce. 15 people signed a petition demanding my removal, even folks I'd helped before. That stung more than I care to admit. I called my brother, told him I was thinking of leaving. Don't, he said. Some battles are worth fighting. Things went nuclear when Linda hired a bargain bin lawyer, Gerald, to take me to court for trespassing. What she didn't count on was my lawyer, Rebecca, federal, level, sharp as a tack. We walked into that courthouse. Linda's face drained white. How does an unemployed lake sitter afford? That she whispered. My legal response wasn't just good, it was surgical. Federal precedents, constitutional arguments, chain of custody, evidence stuff nobody in small-town court ever sees. In court, Linda lost it, rambling about authority and danger, convinced her title made her the law. Judge Sandra Kim, famous for zero tolerance on harassment cases, leaned in. Mrs. Morrison, what rule did he break? Linda stammered. She had nothing but her own ego. Then Rebecca dropped audio, video, social media screenshots of Linda's campaign. Neighbors testified, even Dave admitting they'd never seen me do anything but drink coffee. Mrs. Harris, in her Sunday best, got up and told the truth, how Linda's vendetta was personal, not about safety. Then the questions turned to me. Why was I so calm, so good with evidence, so unbothered by police or legal threats? Judge Kim finally asked, "What do you do for a living?" "Mr. Foster." I stood up, knowing it was time to stop hiding. Reached for my wallet, pulled out my federal badge. "Your Honor, I'm a senior federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice." The room froze. No one breathed. Judge Kim's eyes went wide. "The Santos Municipal Corruption Case." "Yes, Your Honor." She nodded, remembering 73 million recovered, 15 officials in prison. The irony hit everyone at once. Linda had spent months harassing a prosecutor who puts people like her away for a living. That's when Judge Kim did something I'll never forget. She stood, "Judges never do this," and said, "Sir, on behalf of this court and this community, I apologize." The word "sir" made Linda flinch like she'd been slapped. Her supporters looked like they wanted to crawl under their seats. Harris was grinning, tears in her eyes. Gerald's already filling out paperwork to dump Linda as a client. The ruling, Linda guilty of harassment, false reports, abuse of authority. 10 grand in fines, 300 hours of community service with the elderly banned from any HOA office. Oh, and the U.S. Attorney's Office was now investigating for federal charges. You know what the best part was? I asked for compassion, told the court Linda needed help, not destruction. The community came together. Harris took over the HOA, cleaned house, and started monthly meetings for transparency and support. Linda, after therapy and hours spent helping the elderly, finally stood up and apologized. Real tears, real growth. Even Betty, my ex, texted after seeing it online. "You handled yourself with more grace than I saw in our whole marriage. Maybe we could talk." Go figure. Willowbrook changed for the better. Folks who'd signed the petition apologized, some in tears. Harris made kindness over control the new motto, and other communities took notice. Our little war became a national case study in conflict and redemption. And Linda, she learned the hard way that power without legitimacy is just bullying in disguise, but even she found a way to start over. 6 months later, Judge Kim calls me about another HOA nightmare down in Florida, disabled vet service dog board harassment. Harris brings coffee, says she's coming with. At my age, what else am I going to do? So yeah, the story goes on. Some battles are worth fighting. And sometimes the quietest people in the room are the ones you most want on your side. What about you? Have you ever had to stand your ground when everyone thought you were wrong? Think Linda deserved her fate, or was justice too harsh? Drop a comment, share your story, and let's talk about what real power and real community actually look like.